Hey there, I'm Di, and today I'm turning this into this. So I've previously turned one of these little guys into a YouTuber. I'll leave the link for that down below. Of course, that was none other than the creator of the figurine, NerdeCrafter. And I really enjoyed the process of doing that so much, of doing a character study, picking out bits and pieces that I think would make a cool cartoon, computer game type character, and then using this as the basis for it. I think it's best to use a YouTuber that I'm familiar with, so I watch them a lot and I enjoy their channel. And someone that I've been watching a fair bit of lately is Graveyard Loon. I think Graveyard Loon has some really standout character traits that will make this easily recognizable as him. And I did actually watch a video that Graveyard Loon did of using NerdeCrafters kit and turning one of these into a character, and like me with the kit, he broke the arm off.
But then I got a little too excited and snapped his arm off.
So I think I might actually use my broken arm one to turn into him, because in his, he used epoxy sculpt to fix it. First things first, let's do the character study. If you've watched Graveyard Loon, you know his art aesthetic is evil, with a hint of cute. You've probably also seen him in his evil scientist outfit. So I'm definitely going to put his little character in the same thing. So he's going to need the white lab coat, signature red goggles, and big black gloves. I want Loon to have a sidekick, and he has this absolutely adorable cat named Sniffledorf. I love that name, Sniffledorf. Sniffledorf makes regular appearances in his videos, and he's a mostly black cat with white socks and a little white beard. Now for a weapon. There is an art supply that Loon just can't go without, and that's Posca pairs. So I think Loon holding a giant Posca would be cool. On to the sculpting. First up, I need to fix this arm using some epoxy sculpt. Got to pop on gloves while mixing, and once mixed you can go bare hands. Then I push the epoxy sculpt into the broken areas and use my tools to shape it out. I decide to raise the arm up slightly more than the original figure, so when I put the Posca pen in it, it'll hopefully look like he's brandishing it as a weapon. Once that sets, I coat the figure in Bacon Bond and pop down a layer of Sculpey that has been run through my pasta maker. My transition editing is not getting any better. Now I've got a good base to work with. I add a little bit around the wrists for a little bit more bulk to look like the gloves, hopefully. Then add some fettuccine for cuffs. What I mean by that is clay run through my pasta maker on the fettuccine setting. It comes in handy for doing the edges of the fabric. More fettuccine for the opening of the coat, plus lots of smoothing. Then fettuccine for the bottom of the coat. Plus lots of smoothing. I'm trying to keep everything really smooth and a bit more refined than last time. You know, aiming for a neater finish. I pre-cut some of that fettuccine for the collar and I carefully attach that on. With this polymer clay, once baked, thin pieces are really unforgivable and brittle, and I learnt that on my last figurine, so I'm trying to be more mindful of when doing fabric pieces I want hanging away from the body, I've got to put some more clay underneath it to keep it strong. But I still end up with a few bits breaking off once it's baked and I have to repair it. Detail time. Little buttons, even with the little itty bitty holes in it. And some hole slits. No, button slits. Button holes. Now when I did that repair on the arm with the epoxy sculpt, I used the leftovers to roll out some epoxy sculpt sausages, as I want to make some itty bitty little Posca pens. Using the polymer clay to make caps for the pens, I attached them with a layer of clay to look like the Poscas are sitting in a pocket in the lab coat. In the other pocket, I want a little pair of scissors, as I know Loon uses nail scissors when doing squishy makeovers. Look how easy it is to attach them on. That's a lie. Here's what it actually looked like. Editing really does hide all the fiddle farting around, especially when trying to move around tiny, fragile pieces of clay. I used some acetone for smoothing, which wasn't the best idea as I used too much of it, but I'm working with the knowledge I have, which is limited. With the body details done, I'm going to take a break from the main character, and I've decided to make Loon's transition ghost, Trevor.
You lazy bum?
He's this little red ghost character that pops up, usually at the end of Loon's videos, but also during transition times. Plus, he's the little icon image. Got this visual of him just awkwardly creeping in the background. I decided to use coloured clay for this rather than paint it, as he will only require 3 colours and no great detail. I also insert one of those epoxy sculpt sausages up his underside, and you'll see why later. With the baked Loon, I can safely tackle the head. First step is applying some bacon bond and giving his bald head a nice little massage. Then apply a lasagna sheet of clay. I decided to use little sausages of clay to create the hair and painstakingly attach those on and texture each chunk. I do it this way to add depth and detail. It takes a lot of sausages to cover that head, and texturing takes well over an hour. What my editing magic doesn't show is the amount of clay sausages I remove and redo, trying to get the hair looking like Loon's. And halfway through, I wasn't sure it was going to look any good. But I needed to trust the process and just believe in myself a little bit. Easier said than done. But in the end, I was really happy with the hair, especially once the paint went on. Lastly, for Loon, he needs his signature red goggles. I use UV resin, red paint, and the mould that came with the original kit to make the red glass bit. I also trialled some smaller ones using red ink from a marker, but the bigger ones were better. Then add a clay sausage around the rim. I got the idea of doing the goggles like this from Ace of Clay when he used the kit and made a really cool steampunk robot dude with goggles. I debated having the goggles over his eyes, but Loon often wears them on top of his head, so I went for that. Still not sure I made the right choice, especially once I start drawing the eyes on, but I can't go back. Then back with the good old fettuccine for the strap around the head. It's painting time. You can see that big crack on his back. I try and shove paint in it to hide it. Oop, another crack. Not that sort of crack. I'll stop talking and turn up the music. Now this is the original base I went for, but I wasn't really feeling it. I was going for a bubbling toxic waste type look, which just wasn't coming across. So instead, I took a wood slice I had, removed the bark and sanded it down. And I remembered in one of Loon's videos he mentioned he likes stripes, And I'm still going for that evil aesthetic, so I went for a bold black and green stripe. And I think that worked better. Plus, peeling that tape off is just so satisfying.
Oh yeah.
It's time for the minute details and the bit I always procrastinate about and put off, the face. I'm not sculpting any facial features, I'm just drawing it on. And I'm trying to use Loon's own style of drawing eyes to influence my own work. I thought my brilliant idea of tracing round stickers to get a perfect circle was a great idea until...
It's fine, it's fine.
I end up cutting that bit off with a blade. The paint just peels right off the face. I think sanding it may have prevented that. I'm really not happy with what I did to the face, especially those eyes. And as I sit here recording the audio, all I want to do is go back in and fix it. But for now, cue final details montage. And here he is, Graveyard Loon, or Loonius Maximus. I made his sidekick Sniffledorf off camera. To make him, I watched a creative rate-you video. I'll link it below. I chose a cute little pose where he is about to pounce, and I was going to have Trevor creeping in the background, but I thought it would be cuter if I made it look like Sniffledorf was about to pounce on him, and you can see Trevor has one eyeball on him. I hope I've done Loon justice and I've injected enough evil into my sculpture. I would like to send it to him, but like last time, I'm uncertain it's good enough. For now though, I'm going to sit him up on my shelf next to Nerdy. They can just hang out there together.